Everyone, Amanda here. So I'm going to show you 3 different page embellishments for journals, albums, whatever you want to do with them. Now I'm using mirror images, which means obviously they are the same image but the mirror image, because I'm going to put them back to back and I want the same image on both sides. Okay, if you've got your own images, you'll find that setting somewhere in your printer settings or your editing, photo editing settings. Okay, these happen to be on my freebie in my group this week, so all that people need to do is cut them out. So I'm going to quickly give you a tip on cutting mirror images so you get them roughly the same if you don't have a scan and cut. So what you do is you start by cutting one of them and find an edge that's fairly easy to cut and cut that as neat as you can, and do the same on the other. Okay, start with those really easy edges. If you don't know how to leave a white border, cut right up to the image, that's fine, but cut them both neatly and as equally as you can, because they're straight edges. That will be, you know, fairly straight edges, that will be easy to do. Then what you do is you put them back to back and you line them up, okay, and hold them, okay, and then you continue to cut with both of them together at the same time around the more difficult bits. Okay, hold tight of it. You know, if you really want to, you could put a little clip there or something, or some blue tack or a removable glue dot, because at this point you don't know what you're going to do with it, and you just carry on cutting. So I'll do this one because I'm going to use this on one of my projects, and I might just fast forward it. So I've got 3 sets because I'm going to do 3 different embellishments. So the first one is going to be, well, and maybe the second one, an alternative to the hidden paper clip, which are fantastic, they're awesome, but they can be a little bit cumbersome. I find them a bit cumbersome, and I just think this is a nice way, and I'll explain why when we've made it and I put it on a page. I'll explain why this is better. So I'm using a piece of acetate. This just happens to be approximately 4 inches. Alright, and I've scored it. You can score acetate. I've scored it in the middle roughly, and I'm going to burnish it. You can treat acetate just the same as you can cardstock. Okay, now I did cut mine with a die. Just be careful if you use your die cutting machine that you don't end up scratching it all. If you've got jacked up plates like I have, because I don't replace them often enough. But you can just cut it into a shape with your scissors or a trimmer, and then round off the corners by hand, or use a punch if you've got a good enough punch. Okay, acetate, punches don't like acetate. And then just have a check and a feel and make sure there's no sharp edges. If there's any sharp edges, get a nail file and just do that. Okay, because you don't want sharp edges. So what I'm going to use are good old magnets. Obviously, if you've got small children or pets, keep these well out of the way, because if they swallow them, they're dangerous. So I get my first one, and how I'm going to attach them is I'm going to attach them on the inside. Okay, because the more layers that you put over a magnet, the less it's going to work. Alright, now my magnets are, I don't know what size they are. Mine are a little bit thick. I think I need to get some that are a little bit thinner and a little bit bigger. So just have a look on Amazon, on eBay. Spider Magnets is a company where I have bought them in the past. Okay, and get the thinnest ones and look at the sizing. When you're looking at the sizing, double check with your ruler, because sometimes you'll look at the size of something and you'll think, oh, that'll be fine. It comes home and it's so small you can't see it. So always have your ruler out when you're checking the sizes of things like that. So I'm going to just attach mine with scrap paper. So I'm using my 3/4 of an inch circle punch. You can just cut a square, it doesn't matter. So then you put your first magnet where you want it, okay, and you glue it down. And I glue mine down using these circles. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit of glue on the back of the slippery little sucker. Tiny little bit of glue. You can use glue dots, but again, they add in bulk. Tiny bit of glue. Tiny bit of glue, okay. And put it in the middle Which image am I going to use? Just think about which image you're going to use. Am I going to use the girl? Just think about which image you're going to use and just place your magnet roughly in the centre. And leave it alone, okay? And then put some glue around the edge of your circle. Okay. And then put your circle over. I should have done it the other way, but never mind. Put your circle over, and again bear in mind how big your circle is, because when you've stuck your image on you want to hide the circle. Okay, put the circle over. It's just a circle of paper, so you're not adding loads of bulk. Press it down gently, and you may need to leave it to dry. Okay, now I have used double-sided tape before and put the magnets on the other side, and that works as well. Okay, so just keep pressing all the way around until your paper moulds to the shape of the magnet and starts to adhere to the acetate. It will, and just keep going and keep pressing. Okay, and then ideally you'll leave that to dry. Okay, now you can see that mine are a little bit bulky. Can you see that? That's because I could do with thinner magnets. I think these are 0.5, so I could do with thinner ones. But there you go. I'm going to use what I've got. It doesn't matter. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my second circle. I'm going to put it over the top of that circle. Okay. And then I'm going to add my magnet. And it will just hold the circle. It will automatically pop to the same position as the one underneath. Alright, so then you want to add your dot of glue to that one, or your glue dot if you don't want to be patient and wait. Add your glue around the circle. Okay, close your acetate. Okay, and hold it, and it should, you know, you might need to wait for it to dry, but it should adhere. It's not doing. You might need to wait for it to dry. What we're going to do is, while we're waiting for this one to dry, we're going to get on with the next one. So this is another version and another way of doing it. So again, I've got my two mirror images, so they're going to go back to back like so. Alright, so then all you need to do is grab yourself, she says, have I got any? A scrap of card. Okay, here's a scrap. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to assess how wide this is and think of how wide my strip can be. I'm just going to cut that bit off. I'm going to get my trimmer. Okay, and I'm going to cut this probably to about 1/2 inch. Let's have a look. What does this, so on the narrowest point it's 1 inch. So if I go 3/4 inch, then I've got a wide sturdy strip, but it's not going to protrude over my image. So 3/4 inch. Alright. Okay. And then I'm just going to, I want it to be sturdy, so I'm going to do it about there. Okay. And then I need a small amount there to wrap it around my page. So I'm literally just folding it in by eye. I've got myself a little bit of a gap there, no precise measurement, okay, because we like to do crafting on the hop. Not everything has to be measured, and you know, sometimes you just learn by experience. Now you could ink that, in fact I think I will. Stamp on it, put patterned paper on it, you could use patterned card to start with. Whatever. Okay, and I'm going to ink both sides because I'm a bit fussy. And then all you need to do is glue it on the back. Glue it on the back, Amanda. Glue it on. Okay, glue it on. Glue it on one. Which way do I want it? That way. Want it that way. Have a look which side you want showing. Okay. Glue it on kind of central. Okay, like so. Hope I'm in shot. My mat's not straight. I don't think my camera's even straight. Let me just move it. Right, so I'm just assessing all the time to make sure that it's fairly straight and that I've got quite a decent kind of gap there. I'm just going to readjust because it's showing a bit there and I don't want it showing. Okay, so then all I need to do is stick the other one at the other side, obviously making sure that the images match up because that's the whole idea. Okay, so we'll put some glue on here. And we'll put our image on, which goes that way. Yep, it's that way. Okay, so you can line them up. And the fun bit is that you're going to get the same image on both sides of your page. Now you can, if you want, at this point, add a paper clip. Okay, so you could add a paper clip in there, wrapped in, you get your paper clip, you put it on there, you wrap it on the paper, and then you glue the paper to there. Now I'm doing this as an alternative to paper clips because there are some instances when I add paper clips and they will damage the edge of my page, especially if it's got stitching. The paper clip can, if you've not got it in right, it can damage it, can get stuck. And also sometimes I just like different fun ideas, alright? Just a variation on a theme. And so yeah, and who doesn't like the snap of magnets? Who doesn't like magnets? Everybody loves them. Okay, so here I'm going to show you the very easy tape method, because I like to show you more than one way of doing the same thing. So shall we use double-sided tape or shall we use masking tape? Let me have a look in my box. Where's my, oh there it is. So you can use masking tape. It's quite a useful little thing. I don't know if it'd hold it over time because it's not mad sticky. Let's try it. Let's try it. Let's see if it works. You just got to make sure you mould, whatever you use, mould it around the shape of the magnet. I would probably have added a little splodge of glue under that magnet. Alright, so then you get your second magnet. What have I done with it? Oh. Okay, so I'm going to put it about there. Yeah, let me just make sure, because obviously magnets have got a way, polar opposites. So check which way your magnet goes. It goes that way. So I'm going to flip it over and put it on there. And I'm just going to do this by eye, I think. Because I don't think... This is why some people use glue dots. Because then you add the glue dot. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some Sharpie on there really quick. I'm going to press it over and press. And that has now imprinted that Sharpie mark on there. Okay? Because there's more than one way to do things. Okay? Was I in shot? So I have my magnet there, because obviously the polar opposites. I've scribbled on with a felt tip pen, pressed that over, and that's going to mark exactly where my magnet needs to be. So now I'm going to place my magnet the other way around so that it's the right polar opposite. And then we're going to add our masking tape. So I'm just trying different ways to show you that there's more than one way of doing something, so that you can use whatever you've got in your craft room. I just need to make sure that that stays on the blue dot, please, magnet. Okay, hold it with my finger, press, 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 mould it round. Okay, obviously, you might do it a bit more elegantly. You might cut your masking tape into a square. But there we go, nobody's going to see it, and you've got your magnet. And does it hold? Yes, it does. So masking tape works, okay? Circles of paper with glue work. Just takes longer to dry. So, whilst I'm just waiting for this one to continue drying, I'm going to show you this one. So this is another idea. Okay. And then we'll continue with the acetate paper clip. So I've got my two mirror images. I've cut them exactly the same again, like I showed you. I'm going to put them together like so. And I'm just going to glue down one side. Okay, down one end. To just put them together. To start with. Not fully, not all the way. Maybe about halfway. Okay. And this is a really quick and easy one. Glue that together. Okay, let me just move that. We'll come back to that. Then you grab your journal, and this makes for an interesting page. Have a look for a nondescript page that maybe could do with a bit of decorating. I'm going to use this one actually because I blobbed with my fingers there with my distressing. I'm going to grab my distress ruler. Well, I would have a look how wide this is, how wide my book is. Okay, and I'm just going to think, okay, I'm going to rip about a third of this sheet. Sometimes it just adds interest to have different sizes of pages. Okay, and so then what you can do with this is slot it on there. Okay, and then glue it in. So where shall we have it? I'm going to have it there. Okay, and then I'm going to glue her in. Yes, she could be a tuck spot, but you know, I don't want her as a tuck spot. I want her as almost like a decorative kind of page tab to add interest. You know, not every single tiny last little thing you put in a journal has to be a tuck spot. It can just be for fun. And this is one idea of a decorative kind of page tab. Okay, so I glue her in. So then now when you're flicking through the journal, we've got this interesting decorative edge here, like a page tab, and it's the same on both sides. Alright, so then let's go back to our paper clips, magnetic paper clips. Okay, so now this will wrap around a page like a paper clip, and again it adds a decorative element, and it's also going to be functional because you can add things under it. Okay, so let's go back to our acetate one. Alright, she should be dry now. So what I'm going to do here is just check that she's dry. Yeah, all dry, and it works fine. Okay, now the added benefit of using acetate, I'll show you in a moment. Let's get our girl on. I'm just actually going to use double-sided tape to just add her on for the sake of the video, and then I'll go back and I will glue her as well, just so we don't have to wait for it to dry. Okay. Just so we don't have to wait for it to dry. And then I'll explain why the acetate is a fantastic idea. Okay, so I'm going to glue her kind of central and make sure I'm covering that magnet. Okay, and then we will go and we will do our mirror image, so it's going to be the same on both pages. Okay, now this is nothing new. I'm not saying I've invented it because I haven't. There isn't much new, it's all variations on the same thing. But sometimes it's interesting to just have a play with things and just do things a little bit different. So now I've got my mirror image, I'm going to line it up, okay, so that again it covers over and so that I've got the same on each side. Alright, so now when I put this in my journal, okay, we've got that lovely snap. Yeah, I love magnets. And you can obviously make this as large as you like, and I like this because you have got a floating decoration, you can still see what's underneath. And also when you add your ephemera, okay, you can see the ephemera, nothing's hidden, you know, you can see everything there, and it's fun. So it's just a fun element. So I have 3 different page embellishment ideas. You've got your tab, your double-sided page tab. beautiful. We've got a small magnetic holder. It can just be for decoration or it can be functional. And then we've got our third, which is our acetate one. Now I love this because, like I said, you can see all the layers beneath. It's nice and sturdy, it's not going to damage your page in any way, and it's just a fun alternative to only ever using paper clips. You know, it's all about thinking of different exciting things. I mean, yeah, exciting as paper crafting can get. But I get excited when I think of new ways of decorating journals. So I hope those 3 ideas will give you some ideas for your journaling. And maybe even if you just use one of them, you've, you know, I've managed to share a new idea with you. So it's all worth it. Thanks for watching. Take care and I'll see you soon. Bye.